Greetings and salutations. We are once again broadcasting live from the Apocalypse Cabin. Uh, this weekend has been rough here. It's cold and there's a foot of snow outside everywhere, which always makes things difficult. I try to go on a hike. I don't have snowshoes, not recommended in a foot of snow everywhere. So I've just been making some notes at the cabin, working on little things that are on my to-do list here, trying to button this place up a little more. I think we're going to need some real thick curtains for these huge windows. There's a definite draft there, even though they're double paned. It went down to 8 last night, according to my outside thermometers, but I don't know, the local weather service said 13 was the low. But we're a little higher up on the mountain, so maybe that explains. Yeah, it's cold here, friends. It's pretty comfortable in here now. The problem, I suppose, is that there's so much thermal mass in these walls with all these logs that I was not here for 3 weeks, so they all got, cold. The whole thermal mass becomes really cold. So it took a good day of running this wood stove to really heat this place up to be comfortable. But, I'm good. I have long shirts, and this is a wool shirt. I cannot stand wool on my skin, right? But if you put a shirt under it, it's really warm, and so there we have it. Basically, but this was a good test of the cabin because it's 8 outside, and I'm still able, after a little bit of, fire smithing, I suppose. I had to really try to get this thing cranked up. Once it drops, I'd say below 30 here at the cabin, it gets a little difficult for the wood stove to keep up if you're not on top of it. So I'm trying to be on top of these things. And I think it is, just one of those things. It's a learning process. For me, I'll improve as time goes on. I was much more comfortable yesterday than I was on Thursday, for sure. And even more comfortable today. Like I said, it takes a while to just heat this whole building up, right? And I'm running around trying to find drafts or cracks in the mortar to just kind of button this place up. If I was here every day, this situation with the building getting so cold and then taking a while to heat up wouldn't be an issue. It would just be heated every day. So, and I posted a picture earlier. I'm making chicken and potatoes and carrots in the Dutch oven. It's on the wood stove right now. I generally let that go for like 4 hours. And when it's done, the chicken's like falling off the bone, juicy, wonderful, and everything is well cooked. And I love these kind of meals here because I don't have to do anything. I throw it all in the pot and I leave it on there for a few hours, come back to it, and it's time to eat. It looks almost ready, but I'm letting it go until after this stream. So while I've had some free time, I've been trying to get up on current events, something that I generally try to ignore as much as possible due to my probably anxiety issues. I can't take all of the chaos. But since Wednesday, I'm let's see what's going on. Are we going to have a civil war? The divisiveness in this country is absolutely the worst I've ever seen it in my entire life. This, blue versus red, lib versus Republican, liberal versus conservative. These lines are just drawn so huge right now. I don't know, but I seem to recall growing up that like these guys, politicians may not like each other, but they had to work with each other in order to get anything done. But we live in a country where largely nothing gets done unless it's, bankrolled by the corporations that really own our politicians. So, but it is what it is. As far as the events at the Capitol, I watched, and I got to tell you, I do not support or condone any violence whatsoever. But with that being said, the whole thing is very interesting. We've got Governor Cuomo just not long ago saying that, all protests can't be nonviolent or something like that. And, the lenses through which both of these sides view these events, it's just interesting to me. Look at the situation in Portland. How long they took over whole city blocks, right? They burned buildings, demolished things. We've had riots, we've had looting. That was all violent, right? But that was excusable somehow. You don't understand the rage, right? This is what happens. Systemic racism and all of these things foment, and people even called the looting reparations, right? And all of that violence was largely ignored by the mainstream media. I watched a guy standing in front of a burning building, and the headline read, "Mostly peaceful protests," right? Well, by that definition, then what happened in Washington was mostly peaceful. But of course it wasn't, because people literally died, right? People literally died for nothing, for garbage. And how interesting it was to see the orange man in chief throw all those people, his supporters, under the bus. The moment it became clear to him that this looked real, but the optics of this are really bad, and people are saying I caused this, so I have to condemn those people, even though I basically sent them on their way. It's like these people are using the peasants, the rich and the powerful, on both sides, are using these peasants like wind-up toys. Wind them up, send them out, see what happens. Then wash your hands of them if it doesn't go well, or if the optics don't look good. Violence never works. I saw some statistics about Black Lives Matter, and before all the riots, they had something like a 24, 28%, maybe it was, approval rating from most people when asked, do you support Black Lives Matter? After that, it went down for them. They lost half of their support because of the violence. People generally don't respond well when you become violent in the pursuit of whatever your goals are. It's interesting to me that also, I want to see what happens next with these people following a certain letter of the alphabet. These stupid people. I'm sorry. If you believe this shit, you're stupid. None of that shit happened. I was just on Twitter, and I think it's Tina Maria posted, like, Alex Jones is even tired of this letter of the alphabet shit. He's yelling and screaming at somebody on live on air, like, none of this shit ever happens. It never comes true. All this shit never happens. Yeah, trust the scam. It was a scam. It was all a scam. I can't believe, though, that some of the people that were so deeply involved in this, like Jordan Sather and others, aren't coming out and saying it was all bullshit. Sorry that I, spent. How many hours did somebody like a Jordan Sather or a Simon Parks or Robert David Steele stream about this letter of the alphabet bullshit nonsense? How much of their lives did they waste following this bullshit? It was all bullshit. Nothing ever happened. The first major prediction was that Hillary Clinton was going to be arrested the following week. That didn't happen. And it just goes on and on and on from there. Yeah, friends, trust the scam. And I think it's pretty interesting, too, that these people are fucking stupid. The followers of this letter of the alphabet, are stupid. Even in their slogans, they tell you who they are. Where we go one, we go all. Do you know who else does that? Sheep. Sheep do that. Where we go one, we go all. Sounds like sheep to me. And that's what these people were. But what happens next? What are they going to say now that all of these, none of this predicted rise of the, right happened? It was all sadly defeated. And another thing I thought really funny and worthy of mention is that all of these idiots that are, were on the Trump train and the letter of the alphabet train talking about mass arrests. Well, at least that came true. But the mass arrests were the fucking stupid people that were stupid enough to believe this letter of the alphabet garbage and risk huge, huge criminal prosecution to go break their way into the Capitol building for nothing. What was gained? But, friends, to the bitter end, idiots and stupid people are still clinging to some kind of trust the scam narrative, right? I saw Robert David Steele and Simon Parks earlier today. And Simon Parks and this idiot are telling everybody this is all part of the plan, friends. It's all part of the plan. You see, when those people broke in, what they did is they took all these laptops, and that's what has the evidence of the satanic pedophiles and the mole children. And that's all coming out. It's all going to come out now. We've got the laptops. Bullshit. It's so fucking fake. It's fucking fake. And I notice I am watching the live chat. Out of Mind says, but did they really break into the Capitol? No, not really. It looked as if the doors were open and the police just let them in many cases. But you have to remember that there's like 25 entrances to that building. So maybe some of them, the police said, tried to stop them, but there's certainly on record videos of police just opening the door or stepping aside and letting them walk right in. So, yeah, lots of strangeness with that event. Did they really break in? I don't know. And reports from actual reporters that were in there and on the ground were like, they were just a bunch of bumbling fools with no leadership. It wasn't like, to sort of call this an insurrection or whatever, it is a stretch. But the left and the corporate media are running with that story. This was a attempt, to destroy our democracy. This is insurrection and this and that. According to the reporters, I heard many of them say that it was literally like, you had some guys with tactical gear and stuff, right? That were intent, and some people were intent on just smashing and destroying things. But most of the people were just walking around like bumbling idiots, like, just, what are we doing here? Wow, we're in the Capitol. We stormed the Capitol. Yeah. So I think the reports that there is some sort of, master plan here. I mean, if you still fucking believe that after all of the failed, this didn't work and that didn't work, and, it's just getting ridiculous. It's getting to the point of ridiculous. And now these idiots, these MAGA idiots, have given the left corporate media and corporate social media tech giants and Google everything they want, right? Because now they have an excuse to stamp anyone's free speech away, right? Because look what this right-leaning propaganda and lies led to. All that violence, people dead, right? A 14-year Air Force veteran shot and killed for nothing, for garbage, unproven, untrue theories. It was theories, friends, that caused these people, right? And being riled up, right? Where we go one, we go all. Great. You're going to walk into a federal building, commit a federal felony, and risk 10 years in prison for this shit? And I have some friends that are staunch Trump train guys, right? But even them, after this shit happened, are like, this shit's going too far. Yeah. You think? You think it's gone a little too far? Maybe it's gone a lot too far. But back to my point about the tech giants. I'm sorry, friends. Hold on. I'm fighting with this wood stove. Try not to freeze to death. There we go. Okay. So, they just gave the right-leaning idiots just gave all the tech giants and all the the tech giants and the corporate-controlled media now have every reason in the world to vilify you, right? They have every reason in the world to censor you now because your speech causes violent things to happen, right? It was like the gift. I think that, Zuckerberg and Dorsey and all of these and the head of Google, all their higher ups, when they saw this happen, they were like, God damn, now we got what we need. We could just point to this and say, you can't be platformed because this is the kind of stuff that happens when people like you are platformed. You can't have your free speech. We're just going to cancel you. Welcome to our new cancel culture. This is troubling. And regardless of what a fucking idiot, I really believe he's an idiot. Regardless of what an idiot, I believe our current president for the next, 12 more days of this shit? I don't know. No matter what my disagreements with the president of the United States, honestly, no matter what he said, what he's done, the fact that a tech giant monopoly can just delete the president of the United States off of their platform is crazy to me. And, I see all these left-leaning people, all these liberals that I know doing cartwheels. Like, good, fuck Trump, get him off of here. He shouldn't have been here. They should have did that years ago, right? Yeah, maybe. But here's the problem. It's not just, and all of these guys now are complaining. They're losing followers somehow. 75,000 followers got dropped from somebody I was just seeing. The Project Riots guy was complaining that 75,000 followers were gone. This is problematic for me. I don't know. I'm a huge supporter of free speech. But free speech stops the minute that you incite violence, of course. But, the fact that mega tech giants in the form of Facebook and Twitter can just say, we disagree with the shit that the president says, so we're going to deplatform him. That's crazy. And it reminds me as well of there was a time when President Trump was doing a news conference and he started talking about the election fraud. Whether you believe his evidence or not, he was giving a speech to the American people. He called a press conference to do just that, and the corporate media just shut him off. They just said, oh, we don't agree with what he's saying. We're just going to shut him off. Friends, that's the president of I've never seen the president of the United States get muted on live national television before this one. Never. No matter how much the media disagreed with the president, they at least let him speak and communicate whatever he was trying to communicate to the American people. We don't have that now. Now the corporate media could just say, you know what, we really don't like what this guy's saying, so we're going to shut him off. We're going to mute his microphone. Fuck him. Right? And this is the strange world that we live in now, right? And friends, it's not going to stop once the pendulum swings here. Once Biden is inaugurated, this shit is just going to get worse because he's in the pocket of the tech giants. So, it is what it is, but this is where we find ourselves. Now the pendulum is going to swing, right? And we'll have a liberal Democrat president. But I believe what's going to happen is that any voices of dissent against that liberal Democrat president are going to be getting silenced. Any evidence of corruption is going to be called a C theory. I don't even want to say it, right? The tech giants have spoken, and if they disagree with your beliefs or what you're talking about, soon they will just not allow you to say it at all on their platforms. These guys have too much power. And, I noticed recently a story about Parlor. I'm not on Parlor, but I support their right to do something like that, right? If the right-leaning people feel like they're getting stepped on and censored, then they should have a platform similar, I guess, to Twitter where they won't feel that way, right? After all, Twitter is absolutely positively left-leaning, and no one can deny that. So why then should there not be a similar social media site that is right-leaning? That would be the fair and equitable way to resolve this kind of dispute that people have with Twitter. You guys are shadow banning and censoring conservative voices. Okay, so go start your own. But you can't, apparently. You can't even do that. You can't go start your own because then the other tech giants that don't want the competition or disagree with the voices of the people on that platform are now going to try to deplatform your new platform in the form of Apple taking it off of its app store and Google Play. So Apple and Google just said, fuck you, Parlor. You can't have your app. You can't distribute it on our platforms. Does that stop them and their ability to continue with their platform? No, but it hinders them for sure. And it should not be allowed. Somebody wants to start a new platform that is right-leaning, go for it. It's their money. It's their investment capital. It's their time and energy to decide to do that. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, V, but they have a policy against incitement of violence. So, and there's just as many people, let's see, on Twitter calling people Nazis, right? And that's okay. I don't know. I understand that there can't, they have to have some degree of standards for Parlor. Like you can't have people inciting violence and you can't have this and that, but look at their terms of service. That's against their terms of service. So if somebody is doing that and it's not being deleted or dealt with, maybe it's because they're too new at this game yet to have as much automated algorithms running around deleting stuff that's against their policy. I'm just saying, give them a chance. I think that it's fair that if you're going to have if you're going to have a left-leaning social media platform, and all of them are left-leaning, then you should be allowed to have a right-leaning one. But yeah, I do agree that anybody that's on any platform inciting violence or, telling people to create violence, I'm completely and totally against. Yeah, and Carol Utley mentions, isn't Amazon taking Parlor down? I believe that it somehow has. Yeah. Amazon as well. So, yeah. And this kind of situation is only going to make people go, see, they are trying to censor us. Even when we start our own platform, we're not allowed. They're trying to interfere with us starting our own platform. This whole situation just makes me sad. It's like, why can't everybody just get along? And I keep coming back to this time and time again. Both sides of this argument are stupid. If you're really, really right or really, really left, right, and you're so into this shit that you spend all day arguing with people on social media about this shit or that shit, I feel sorry for you because the real situation is both sides are criminals. Both sides don't give a fuck about. Do you think these rich, powerful, elite people give a fuck about you and your family? Fuck no. They only care about money and power. That's it. And keeping their power, expanding their power, getting more power, expanding their control over things. More money for me and less for you fucking peasants. That's what all of this is about. And I think these rich people like the divisiveness, right? It's classic tactic. Like, let's separate these people by races, religions, right? Ethnicities, right? Because if they get together, we're fucked. There's more of them than there is of us. And this situation has been ongoing. These rich motherfuckers do not care about you. They don't care about your family. They don't care about you. They don't care about your job or lack of a job. They don't care about your prosperity. They don't care about your opportunities or you having more opportunities to be successful. They do not care. They just don't care. So for you to care about arguing over which of these rich, powerful, elite assholes is better than the other guy is a waste of time. It's ridiculous. And it doesn't change a thing. It's not going to, I don't care how many hours a day you spend tweeting anti-Trump tweets, right? I don't care how many hours a day you spend tweeting Biden is a senile old man and a pedo, right? It's not going to change hearts and minds. People's minds are made up. It's a waste of time to even engage with this nonsense, right? But I got to tell you, I expected the events of last Wednesday to be worse. I truly did. I thought it was going to pop off worse than it did. Had a feeling things might pop off, but I thought it was going to be much worse. And we can see with the, there were literal bombs in the area. And we have, armed people in sort of riot gear, right? Like with zip ties. What were they going to do with the zip ties? Take hostages, people have assumed? It could have been much, much worse. As bad as it was, it could have been much, much worse. And my heart goes out to the few people that were killed. There's a police officer and a 14-year Air Force veteran was shot for nothing. Both sides are crazy. Yeah, Brent, both sides are crazy. And I think things are only going to get crazier. So, I made some notes from my apocalypse cabin today, just about things that I want to do around here, just in case shit hits the fan. And I don't know, we're good on lighting here. I did spend some time today I've got all these oil lamps and I got those out, and there's a big box of candles here just in case. And we've got 120 volt lighting, and we've got 12 volt lighting that works better with the solar and the 12 volt system that we have. I don't know, tools and equipment. I have everything that you could possibly need as far as tools or equipment go. And the cabin here continues to evolve, I guess, and get better stocked, better equipped. Should we end up moving here for whatever reason? And I got to say, I thought that having this place would ease some of my anxiety about events that I believe may be coming. But I think in some ways, it made me worse, because now instead of worrying about having the place, now I'm just constantly worrying about, should I buy more candles? Should we buy more solar panels just in case, even though I don't have time to hook them up right now. Maybe I'll just buy them and put them in the shed for, in case we need them, they're in there. Thinking about the heating situation here, the propane situation here. Ran out of propane, and I hate that. Because it's like, it always happens like when you're in the middle of cooking dinner or something, right? That's when I've just got these little barbecue tanks, and usually they last a good period of time, but I don't know, so I try to use the propane stove, and the stove died in the middle. So yeah, I really need bigger propane tanks. That's one thing that's definitely on the list for upgrades here. And another big propane tank, because we have a propane heater here. And that, if I had that hooked up right now, that would have really helped with this weekend situation. Because when it's 8 outside, man, it is cold. I'm fine if I'm like right here. The wood stove's right next to me. So, but if I, go to the front door, and man, there was a big blast of cold air coming from under that door. So I threw like some pillows in the door frame, and that seemed to help. I don't know. So I'm curious in the live chat. I'll ask you, my audience, what do you think is going to happen next with these followers of the alphabet? Are these people finally going to realize, like, gee, none of this was real? What are the people that have been making a living selling this garbage going to do? I'm curious. I can't wait to see where these idiots go next, right? Are people like David Wilcock just going to, sort of segue back into new age bullshit and get away from the politics, right? I think so, because they lost big jumping on that train, right? They lost big. Everybody who jumped on that alphabet train or the Trump train looks like a fucking idiot right now, right? Yeah, I hear you, Dan. Dan is saying there's already shit spreading online about people coming to Washington for the inauguration. Yeah, and they're saying that that's going to be worse than the Capitol. It is interesting. I heard several people comment, and I can't disagree, that those people that stormed the Capitol, if they were brown people, would have got shot and killed, all of them. Right? Imagine if those were brown people or Black Lives Matter, right? Remember when Black Lives Matter was going to march in Washington? There was riot gear, National Guard everywhere. There was troops everywhere, police everywhere, plenty of police to prevent any violence. These MAGA idiots, right? They get to go to the Capitol, right? They get to storm the Capitol, break windows, vandalize our nation's Capitol building, and largely most of them just went home, right? After that happened, went back to their hotel rooms, whatever. I mean, they're like, some of them like went out to dinner after they did that. Like, yeah, we stormed the Capitol. We're patriots. It's fucking ridiculous. But, this is where we find ourselves. But my point is, imagine if, let's say, a Muslim, like if that many Muslims descended on Washington, D.C., or that many Black Lives Matter protesters or Antifa or whoever, right? The response would have been far different. And I think some heads are going to roll. Like, who is in charge? I think it's the Capitol Police are in charge of securing these buildings, right? It was a huge, huge failure, huge failure. Yeah, and Brent is on Facebook commenting, they let them do it all game. Yeah, it's all game. A lot of people are saying that's some kind of psyop, or that the the left people knew that this was going to look real bad for Trump, so they sort of like let the people in, and knowing that they wouldn't do much damage. I don't know. There's going to be people writing and talking about this event for years to come, and there'll be all kinds of theories spouting out of it, right? I mean, there already are. Oh, they stole laptops while we were there, senators' laptops and congressmen's laptops, and they got all this evidence, of the cabal. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yes, and someone is commenting about in the live chat these people were like all flew there first class. These are affluent white people that did this. These are not like poor white trash, right? Educated people with power and authority and influence and money, all went there and with the intent to do something, right? Yeah. Okay, we'll take a... Oh, Dan Hogan. To be fair, Black Lives Matter didn't burn multiple cities. Worst places for the fires was Minneapolis. They did some serious damage there. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. Jonaside says, I think it's a psyop. Yeah, I'm not sure I like this new theme. So hold on. I like the theme, but it's harder. It's harder for me to read. So let's see if this is any better. No. That's the old one. That's better. We'll use the big ones because I'm on a laptop and having trouble seeing. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Genocide. It may have been some kind of psyop, but they used useful idiots in the form of MAGA idiots, right? Michael says, worst city burning I ever saw was back in 1992. That was Los Angeles. Oh, the Los Angeles 92 riots? You were in that? You saw that? That's interesting. I got to watch the neighborhood I grew up in burn and get looted on my birthday this year. That was fun. And, that's another thing I wanted to mention. Some of these crazy theories that are going around are so stupid. Like, oh, it wasn't MAGA people. It was Antifa members disguised as MAGA people. And I just want to say that that's just as ridiculous as the people who told me during my Philadelphia city, the city I grew up in, getting rioted and looted, that those weren't BLM people that were rioting and looting in Philadelphia. No, those were white supremacists disguised as Black Lives Matter protest. It's ridiculous. Both of you people spouting either of those theories are fucking ridiculous, especially in the case of BLM in Philadelphia. I mean, you can look at the people and go, does this look like a bunch of white supremacists to you? Because it didn't to me, right? And the same shit. These are people, you could look at them and see these are dumpy white guy MAGA people. These are not Antifa, right? Disguised as MAGA people. But hey, we don't want to accept responsibility for this ridiculous thing that happened. It's embarrassing, so let's deflect it and say, no, it was the other side pretending to be us that did it. It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous in all of its forms, right? Absolutely ridiculous. Dan Hogan says, I do want that guy's fur Viking helmet. I'd wear that thing everywhere. I'd wear it at the Apocalypse Cabin, Dan Hogan. Yeah, I would definitely wear it at the Apocalypse Cabin. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Norse tattoos are white supremacy tattoos, are they? I've never heard that. There were squads on patrol, but you didn't have to call the police. They were already there. Yeah, I agree. Phil Blair, as long as people are told that they can legally get a prescription of opiates in Pennsylvania, but not recreational or med cannabis for PTSD, nothing is going to get better. We have medical, actually, Phil Blair, we have medical marijuana, but you have to, I call it sideways legalization. And it's legalization for people of means and affluence. In other words, if you've got $300 and can afford to go to a doctor with, I think it's literally any condition now. When they first opened it up, it was you really need it. You had to be a cancer patient or something serious for the doctors to approve you. But eventually, they'll just approve you for anything. You can walk in and say you have insomnia. You can say you have headaches. Okay, stamp. And here's your card. So if you can pay the $300 in the state of Pennsylvania or whatever it is, a couple $100, you can legally use cannabis. But if you don't have the money, you could still be arrested, right? If you just bought it off the street because you didn't have the money for the doctor visit and all that. And that is definitely not okay with me. If it's okay for people with $300, it should be okay for anybody, but they need to do it. They need a new law, right? The guy in the fur horns told the FBI that Trump told them to attack the Capitol. Yeah, I'd heard that too. And that's pretty damaging evidence against Mr. Trump. I don't believe that Donald Trump like called the fur hat guy on the phone and told him to do that. So I don't know how directly, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how directly he means that, or did he just mean it like, Trump told us to fight, fight, fight. So we went there and stormed it. It's going to be hard to connect those dots and criminally prosecute Trump, I think, but they are already calling for Article 25 to remove him from office. And I believe on Monday they're saying that they're gonna do another impeachment. But the guy's only got 12 days left in office. Like, I don't know how they could get through a whole impeachment trial and hearing in 12 days. I think it's largely more sending him a message, and his supporters a message, right? The Shamrock is a white supremacist. Only the 5 leaders have the Shamrock. Have not heard that. Jonaside says, I have Valknut. It's an Odin symbol for the fallen warriors that have died and go to Valhalla to fight in Ragnarok. Jonaside, that sounds like a Thor movie, right? That sounds like a Thor movie you're talking about. I don't know what kind of shit you're talking about, but it sounds like a Thor movie or comic book, right? I learned most of what I know about Norse mythology from Thor comic books, Jonaside. Don't hate me, right? He can also be impeached after his term ends. I didn't know that. I thought the purpose of an impeachment is to remove a president from office for criminal acts. You can impeach him after he's no longer president. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I've never heard that. I thought you can only impeach him while he's in office. You don't get the munchies on medical weed, Carol Utley says. Well, maybe you do, actually. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to have to give a shout out to, I want to thank, we have some new Patreon supporters recently. And also, we got a donation, a kind and generous donation from Jill D of $20. And I missed calling it out on the night that she did that. So my apologies. Thank you, Jill D, for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of our show. It really does help keep us going here, and it helps to continue the journey here. So thank you, Jill D. You have my gratitude and my thanks. I can't thank you enough. Every time I log into PayPal and see somebody send a couple of bucks, it puts a smile on my face. So thanks, Jill D, for putting a smile on my face. I needed a smile that day, honestly. Okay, and I don't want to give their name. We have a new Patreon, our initials RK, because I got the real name. And then somebody deleted theirs. Huh. Okay. So, yeah. We went up one, and then we went down one as far as Patreon. If anybody would like to help our show, there's a Patreon donate or join button in the About section here on our main channel, or a Patreon or a PayPal donate button, and you can make a one-time donation. My thanks to everybody that has donated or joined us on Patreon. It really does help to keep the show going. So some people have asked if I'm going to continue this coverage of this David Wilcock's latest live stream, and I thought a lot about it, and no, I think I'm not, because I previewed more of his stream, and me covering that stream is going to go a lot like this. What a fucking liar. Jesus Christ, David Wilcock, you fucking lied again. Jesus Christ, David Wilcock, this source is terrible. Are you fucking kidding me? Connected dots aren't there. Fuck you, David Wilcock. I can't believe how much you fucking lied. Jesus Christ, you lied again. That's dude, it will take 5 more shows, probably, maybe 4, to get through another 2 hours of him talking. And I think that the first show we did is more than sufficient to show people what a liar this guy is. The first half hour, he lied so many times. What are the chances he's going to start telling the truth for the next 2 hours? The chances are about 0, right? Or what are the chances he's going to provide any valuable information or something that's true and accurate in the next 2 hours when he spent the first 40 minutes lying through his fake fucking teeth? And I don't know, maybe I'm being lazy, but I did preview some of what he was talking about. And I just went, Jesus Christ, like that. It's not entertaining for me to just sit there and go, what a fucking liar, what a fucking liar. Stop him every 2 minutes. He fucking lied again. There he goes, lying again, right? Do we really want 5 more shows of me doing that? I don't think so. Yeah, I just don't think so. So we're going to call it at the one coverage of the first 40 minutes of it. Cause but I reserve the right to go back to it if there's something good in there that somebody sends me that I do want to talk about. Right. Because you never know. I mean, my favorite gem from the first 40 minutes of covering that clown, his latest stream, was the new kind of nuclear weapon that doesn't blow things up, but shrinks them. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, right? What a bunch of bullshit, man. What a bunch of bullshit. A new kind of nuclear, he said it. There's a new kind of nuclear weapon, but it doesn't blow things up. It shrinks them. That was my favorite from this first 40 minutes of his stream. If there's some more gems in there like that, I may go back to covering his latest stream. But like I said, it wouldn't be entertaining. Not for 5 more 2-hour shows to do that. That would be 10 hours of me going, David Wilcock, you're such a fucking liar. David Wilcock, you lied again, right? Let's see. Did you see Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson's analysis of what happened at the Capitol development? It was good food for thought. I have not seen that. From the future fake guy, David Wilcock is my favorite. Still fighting with this wood stove. The vent. There we go. Yeah, I'm like trying real hard not to freeze to death during the stream. So just bear with me while I throw a couple more logs in there. Hopefully. Yeah, the worst thing in the world is if you I only have to put logs on this every couple of hours, but sometimes you get busy in here. If I'm doing something, I get busy and I'll forget. And then the next thing I know, it's like going out and it's hard to keep it, to get it started again if you wait too long. So considering it's I don't know, I think it's probably 10 out there again. I got to keep this thing loaded. Load it and rolling. There we go. Thanks, friends. Sorry about that. I don't want to freeze to death. Yeah. So any comments or questions for me, please put them in the live chat. Otherwise we're going to call it a quick one tonight. I just wanted to come back, spend some time with you, talk about some of the current events. London, where are you? I don't know if you're talking to me, but I'm in the mountains of Pennsylvania in my apocalypse cabin right now. Victor Surge says he's in the woods of northern Canada. No, I'm in the mountains of Pennsylvania in the United States. As far as riots go, DC was a pussy fest. Yeah, that wasn't that much destruction or anything. I think I heard, though, that they did do some major damage to some historical items, which bothers me because, those paintings or whatever documents they damaged could be hundreds of years old and be important to our nation's history. And to me, things like that should be revered and respected. and certainly not destroyed in a hissy fit bullshit event like that. Another point of interest to me is the people that are like surprised that this shit has happened. Like all of this shit happened. Like, what do you think is going to happen when you hire a former reality star to be the president, right? Sweet Cheeks, will you take us on a cabin tour sometime? Absolutely, Sweet Cheeks. I will do that. And I'm going to start a new YouTube channel soon that is just going to be about the cabin. All about the cabin. And I'd like to thank our haters, because we have 3 thumbs downs already. 3 thumbs downs already. But that's okay. I love thumbs downs just as much as I love thumbs ups because it's engagement. So thank you to the haters or the people that think I suck. It still helps. You can thumbs down me all you like. It helps. Engagement is a good thing. Whether it's a positive or negative engagement does not really matter. Genocide, Apocalypse Cabin Con, details coming soon. You know, if not for COVID, I would do something like that. Genocide, especially if we get this new land that I'm looking for, which is going to be a lot more land. So there'll be a lot more places for people to camp and hang out, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Something like that what might happen. Before COVID, I was talking about doing something like Contact in the Mountains. And it would be a free event. Anybody could come. I was just really hoping that I could get some friends to be speakers or something, because I don't want to, you know, what am I going to talk about for a couple of days, right? But I thought if we get enough people, we could have people do presentations on different subjects or cases or whatever, give talks, and it would all be free, right? Instead of, you know, paying for a plane ticket, and paying for this and paying for that. Just bring a tent and a sleeping bag and something to eat, and we'll give you a fire ring, and you know, we'll have a nice time. Genocide says 3. Those are rookie numbers. You need to get the numbers up. Yeah. Q-tards need love too. Yeah, Lee. Follow the scam, right? What are you going to do if that fizzles out, right? You've been following this crap for years, right, Lee? The Q people are so close to realizing capitalism as the problem. I don't have a problem with capitalism, Victor Sarge. I have a problem with crony capitalism, though. There's a big difference. Out of Mind says, I love that idea. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think a problem might be parking, though. Like, that's why I'm thinking if I get this new plot of land, I'll put a big clear, there's got to be a big clear place for people to park, right? Even if they have to hike into the campsite or whatever. But I don't know. We're gonna investigate the possibility of doing something like that in the future. Or I could just have people like from the show or the live chat as guests, but not like, you know, 50 of you, you know, like maybe, you know, one person, or we'll do like a prize, like weekend at the cabin. If you could get here, you're welcome, and we'll feed you and probably put you to work. Yeah. We were going to rent a space for free conventions out here in LA. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Look, Michael, look at like VFW halls and stuff, because some of them will let you rent their hall for like $100 a day, right? You don't need a big, you know, concert hall or a big like convention hall from a hotel. Biden is my creepy old uncle. Yeah, I agree with you. That dude is creepy. Joe Biden's creepy. I'm sorry. In an unregulated free market with no accountability, that is to stop bad faith actors from creating crony capitalism every single time. Well, I think there could be safeguards put in place to prevent that, but the crony capitalists don't want that, of course, right? Michael says finding venues is what he does. Yeah, good. Find some. I early on in the music business, I figured out real fast that like I could go play bars and get paid like nothing, whatever they felt was, and it was always, you were always getting ripped off. Like, okay, we're going to have 50 people show up here and pay $10 to get in. And then they're going to all buy $8 beers all night. So the venue cleans up and then they give the band like $50 or something. So I figured out real fast that I could rent my own venue, right? And we did a bunch of shows like that where we just rented a hall, church halls. Yeah. Yeah. So some shout outs. We have Phil Blair, we have Michael, we have Bee Gees, we have Carol Utley, we have Victor Surge is here. Paul Cargo is here. Paranormal Hood Live is here. Jonaside is here. Pragmagic is here. Eileen Ebony is here. Brock Landers is here. Andrew Whitley, Blind Dave Crypto is here. Dan Hogan is here. Luden Barnes is here. I'm sorry I missed your question earlier. Will ETs embrace us with open arms or destroy our whole race? I would say 50-50. A lot of people have this argument that all ETs are benevolent. And then there's another side of that, which is saying that all ETs are a threat. I think if the animal kingdom is any indication, you're going to have some species that will be violent and predatory, right? Either by nature or by nurture or for whatever reason, they're going to be predatory. And then you're going to have some species that are peaceful and not predatory. So I think it's really a crapshoot whether they will embrace us with open arms or destroy our whole race. I think it depends on what species we encounter, right? An interesting thought experiment is, what if we encounter only the good type first? Will we then let our guard down and think all of them are going to be, our space brothers? I don't know. But it's interesting to think about that. Too much woo. We don't have to worry about aliens killing us. We're good at that on our own. Yeah, absolutely. We are definitely good at that. We are definitely good at that. And I'm going to put my begging bowl out. Let's see. Well, first I'll say this. Please do like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Add their channel address. Send the channel address to some friends. That really does help. That helps us to expand the show. We really do need just a few more subscribers before these stupid numbers are going to, be good enough that we're going to be allowed. We're going to be allowed to make any money here. And I got a message from Michael on Facebook, and yes, we can. Sure thing. Absolutely. And he knows what I'm talking about, even if most of you don't. So I got sidetracked. Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Please send our channel address to some other friends. We're trying really hard to get to the magic numbers. We're just about there. Of course, I did see it go down a bunch, like by 5, and I was pissed off when you only need like 10 or 11 more, and then it goes down by 5, but then it went back up. I don't know. I'm going to stop looking at it for a while. And also, it's important for me to mention that we do need your financial support to continue the show. Please consider a PayPal donation or becoming a Patreon supporter if you do want to see our show continue. There are links in the About section for either. And you can, there's a Patreon, join Patreon. It'll take you right to our Patreon, or donate, one-time donation by PayPal. Please, if you send us some money, you leeches. Make a PayPal donation. But listen, if you make a PayPal donation, please click add a note and give us your chat room user ID. I don't want to shout out your real name. You probably don't want me to shout out your real name. So just add a note, put your chat room user ID, and then anything that you'd like me to share on the show on your behalf, and I'd be happy to do that. Yeah, so if you do send a PayPal donation, again, include your chat room user ID in the note line and any message you'd like me to shout out. It really does help if you add the note line, because otherwise sometimes I get these PayPal donations and people don't know, like people don't know. I don't know sometimes who that is from the live chat. Like sometimes the dots don't connect for me. Some of you I know by now, but some of them not so much, right? So I'm going to once again check in with our PayPal just to make sure there's not anybody that I have to shout out. And we're good on that. And I'll check in with our Patreon notifications. Notice also, if you sign up for Patreon while we're live on air, I do monitor that and we'll shout you out and thank you profusely. So, yeah. Okay, well, friends, I'm glad that I got a chance to just check in with you, talk about a few things on my mind from current events. I can't wait to see where these letter of the alphabet idiots are going to go next, right? Where we go one, we go all, right off a fucking cliff, apparently, right? And it's so funny that some people are so adamantly into this shit that they're still thinking that something's going to happen. Oh, before January 20th, the military is going to intervene, right? The Supreme Court's going to step in because the evidence of fraud is too great, right? Yeah, right. I think the next hot button day to watch, though, is going to be January 20th. I think things, friends, could pop off and pop off big. If it does, just be sure to have some supplies. Be ready. Just in case. Can't hurt. Then you're not a prepper crazy person. You're just overly cautious, abundantly cautious. And no harm can come from being abundantly cautious. At least I don't think so. I mean, I've got an entire apocalypse cabin. You don't need all that, right? But having a little bit of extra supplies, batteries, candles, things like that, can't hurt. The extra food in your cupboard, right? Just in case. Genocide says, yep, JFK is coming back any day now. Any day. Yeah. Renee is here. Renee Miss Genocide. Stay warm, Stephen. We don't want you to be a Steve Pop. Yeah, this was one of the coldest weekends I've ever been here. And it just slows me down when it's too cold in here. I can't really work. I spend most of my time like stoking the fire and trying to get the coals hot, trying to get this place warmed up. And it becomes like a part-time job to just run the wood stove to stay warm. Andrew Whitley, when are you here next? I'm going to do a show on Monday night from the regular studio, my home studio. And I think that will be, we're going to have a presentation that I've been preparing on a strange and mysterious subject that I've been wanting to get into for a while. I think it's going to be a good time. That'll be Monday night at 8 p.m., I believe. But subject to change because I'm a busy guy. And Sweet Cheeks would love to see the cabin. Just for you, Sweet Cheeks, you're a Patreon supporter. Just for you, I will post a whole bunch of pictures of the cabin just for Patreon supporters. Since you asked, I will definitely do that for you in the next couple of days. I've got to anyway get my pictures together for another project. So that will give me another reason to get that project, getting all the pictures together, Hunt. It would give me a reason to get that done more. Yes, people are going to say it happened on another timeline. Yeah. Yeah. Alternate timeline. That's what happened. That's why the whole letter of the alphabet thing came crashing down, because an alternate timeline got started. And all that stuff that those drops were talking about did happen in an alternate timeline, right? It's ridiculous, friends. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely. Cambian's going to post cabin pizza pictures on Patreon just to spite me. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I am. Just to spite Dan Hogan. It'll be funny when Dan actually does. I don't know, what are you, like a 4-hour drive from the cabin? Probably, but you're within like driving distance to visit, and I hope you'll do that someday, Dan. And when you do, you'll finally get some pizza, right? You'll finally get some wood stove pizza. But just to bug him, I bust his balls every time. I have to post, the picture of the pizza coming out of the wood stoves here. This one was pretty good. This is peppers, pepperoni, onions, and sausage. Real good. Came out real good. Oop. There we go. So that's for Dan Hogan. Pizza. Yeah. And Dan Hogan says he's 4 hours from there. Yeah. Well, in the summertime, as long as you got your shots, I don't know if we'll all have our shots by then. My wife is a little crazy about that right now, and will remain so probably until everyone is not a risk to her family's health. I think that's how she's viewing it, like Dan Hogan says, storm the cabin. You better not, motherfucker, because I got a lot of guns in here. Yeah, I got a lot of guns and weapons here. I even got a little crazy, Dan Hogan, and I got like bows and arrows and like spears and shit, like, swords. I wanted to have some primitive weapons just in case you ran out of bullets, right? It's an apocalypse cabin after all. You never know what could happen. I could run out of bullets. Oh, yeah. Dark Ravens says, look like I'll be stopping by for some pizza. Dark Ravens is my nephew, and he actually lives with his family not too far from here. I think he's about 20 minutes from here, 25 minutes from here. And you are most welcome. Why don't you come and co-host a show one time? That would be good. And then it'll look a little better, like higher production value than just me, right? You could be a co-host for the night. Just come and hang out, right? Maybe we'll play some chess, drink some beers, eat some pizza. It'll be a good time. Andrew Whitley, see what you assholes started? Let's storm the Cambion cabin. No, friends. I do not think so. Michael says, heard there's a shortage of drones. Greer must be setting up for another CE5 event. Yeah. Uh-oh. Dan and I will send the termite drones. Oh, boy. Okay, date and time. How about next week? I'm leaving tomorrow, but next week, like, you should come here on a Saturday night. Next Saturday night, I'll be here. I'll make sure we have plenty of pizza stuff and beers, and yeah, you're welcome. I'm gonna have to rearrange things so that you can sit. We'll have to move shit back, or I don't know. I've never had a stream me and a co-host, but we'll figure it out. I mean, I've got extra stuff here, so we'll be fine. Yeah, next Saturday would be good for me. If that's not good for you, then next Friday night may be good. The mole kids I rescued will go in as infantry. All right, this is getting crazy. All right, and Nicholas, my nephew, sounds like a plan. I always feel weird that he's my nephew because he's like a big dude and is bigger than me probably. And, we're about the same age, so it's funny to like call him my nephew, but that's just the way it worked out, I guess, Yeah, I'm hiding the aliens in the apocalypse cat. I have the cryogenic chambers next door, right? That's what the sunroom is for. It's actually an underground, under the sunroom is alien cryogenic chambers where I'm storing all of the aliens and bodies. That's exactly what's going on here at the cabin. Yeah, you have an aunt older than you by 4 months, Michael. So you know what I mean? It just seems weird to call him my nephew. But, it is what it is. Everyone knows Cambion is working with the tall grays. No, I like the little ones. They're cuter. The little grays. Yeah. So, friends, just wanted to come check in with you. Glad that I did so. I am going to check on my dinner, which is on the wood stove, slow cooking here. We're having chicken and carrots and potatoes. It smells great. I'm sure it's done by now. So we're going to roll out. I will be back on Monday night at 8 p.m. Until next time, friends, good night and God bless all of you.